everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Allie. If you're new here, hello. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Today, we are tier ranking another one of my favorite authors to see if I am simply biased or if they do in fact write good things. And this is, I think, the one that I'm most interested in doing. We are ranking Miss Abby Jimenez. This is pretty much every book she's written. There's a few, but it's every book of hers that I have read, which is most of them. That's what I'm most interested in because I feel like Abby Jimenez is pretty close to not being an auto-buy author for me anymore. I feel like their past couple books have not hit the way they were when I first started reading her. So, I'm interested to go through this. That was my cat. I'm interested to go through this and rank them all and see how I in fact feel about all her books. And I'll decide at the end of this if I still think she's an auto-buy author or if I think I'm slowly falling off of her content. Let's look at what we're working with. We have the top tier, which is truly the best. The second tier, which is like probably most of my 4 stars, still really good, is I'll Remember You. The middle tier, which is like, it was a book, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, is In the Friend Zone. And then our bottom 2 tiers could maybe be part of this world, are books that, like, I definitely didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I wouldn't necessarily read it again. Addie, you are just in frame. And then our bottom tier is Life's Too Short to Read This. These are books that, like, I just didn't like, and I would not recommend you to read them. I think with all that, we'll hop right into it. So, the first book up on the docket is Just for the Summer, by, of course, Abby Jimenez. This is the one where the main character is like a traveling nurse, and her and the love interest both are like always the people that people date before they get married. They're always like the one before the ones. So they decide to date each other to help them then in fact find their person. I believe that is this one. Is going to be in I'll Remember You. I did really like this one. It was not my favorite thing she'd ever written, but I did really like it, and compared to things that I've read of hers more recently, it's my favorite of her most recents. I thought it was really enjoyable. I liked the characters of it. Abby Jimenez, for me, I always like, usually, her characters, because they always seem to have very human situations they're going through. There's always a lot of, like, dealing with mental health, or, like, hard family issues, and that's usually really prevalent with her books, and I just liked the way that she wrote it in Just for the Summer. So, I think that that's a solid I'll Remember You. Then we have Part of Your World. This was one of the first books of hers that I read. Part of Your World, I believe, is the main character is like a hotshot doctor, and I can't remember if she like loses a bet or like willingly chooses to, but she like goes to the small town and then falls in love with the small town carpenter and stuff. For me, as I think in Your Friend Zone, I think I did at the time of reading this rate it 4 stars. I think if I read it now, it would be more like a 3, because the main female lead of this book was not like my favorite she'd ever written. I didn't really feel like she deserved the love interest that she had. I was like, this book made me side with a man, which is crazy. I didn't think that our main lead deserved to be treated the way that our female lead treated him. Like, I do think of things that I do like from it. I did rate it 4 stars at the time. Have I read it now, I wouldn't, like, DNF it. I wouldn't hate it. So I think that that's a solid In Your Friend Zone. Moving on to the easiest decision, Yours Truly goes in Truly the Best. This is forever and still my favorite book that she has ever written. Nothing has topped it for me yet. This is kind of like, I think, the gateway for most people into reading her books. She is, like, freshly divorced. Her brother is, like, dying of kidney failure. They're, like, struggling to find him a kidney donor. Her love interest is, like, the grumpy hot doctor, deals with, like, anxiety and stuff, and it's just the way their characters were written. Love the male interest. I believe his name is Jacob. I love him down bad. I don't know, I'm obsessed with him. I love him. I really liked the way that all of the more difficult human things were handled in this. I loved the way that she wrote anxiety. I loved their banter. I don't know, I loved that book. If you're gonna read any Abby Jimenez, I highly suggest that one. It's a great place to start. It's an incredible book. This is where things start to go downhill for me. Say You'll Remember Me. I, at the time, rated it 3 stars. Do I agree with it now? Say You'll Remember Me was not my favorite thing. It was very, like, it had Grumpy Sunshine, which I like, but it was very insta-love, and I am not an insta-love. This is, the main love interest is a vet. Female love interest, like, finds a stray cat and brings it to the vet. and the vet's immediately like, ooga wooga, I love this girl. And she's like, I'm like leaving tomorrow. And then they're in like a long distance relationship. And like, that's the part that saved it for me. I like how she wrote the long distance relationship of it all. I thought that she did it really well. I was in a long distance relationship for 4 years, so I just really liked how she wrote that aspect and portrayed it. If they weren't long distance, I probably would have hated this book because they were like insufferable. And the opening of it, the guy kind of weirded me out with how he was immediately just like, I like her boobs. I think that I'm gonna put this in, it could be part of this world. I don't know if I want to fully say it and life's too short to read this, because I do like the long distance of it all, just I didn't like them as characters. And maybe I'm being generous. I don't know. We'll see how I feel at the end after I've gone through everything else. That might be generous and I might end up moving it down. Then we have the friend zone, which the friend zone is part of like a little like series of Happy Ever After playlist and Life's Too Short. They're kind of like companion-y novel things. This one is dealing a lot with fertility issues, and then her love interest obviously wants kids. I at the time 3-starred this. This is another one where if I read it now, I think my opinion would change. Again, I don't know if I feel... But that's the thing. This book didn't feel memorable. I couldn't tell you any details. I couldn't sit here and be like, oh, I loved their banter and the book made me laugh. I would be lying if I did. If I read it now, I would definitely rate it lower than what I did at the time. Again, I might be being generous. I'm going to look back at this when I'm done and I might move things. But for now, I'm going to put it and could maybe be part of the world. But again, this tier is very prone to being moved. I will see how I feel at the end of it. Just the friend zone was not like my favorite thing. I don't know. We have, following that book, Happily Ever After playlist, which is the main character her husband died. It's been a few years. She like gets a stray dog on her porch and then like tries to find its owner, and then the love interest is the owner of this dog. The love interest is also like a musician, so she's the thing of like kind of ready to move on from my husband, not really, but like should I be doing it with this person that's not around, and that was a whole aspect of it. I think I'm gonna put this in the friend zone. Looking at my Goodreads, rated this like 4 stars when I read it the first time. It's another one that I think would maybe drop down a tier, but I don't super disagree with my rating of that. Then we have Life's Too Short, which I do think this might actually genuinely be the first Abby Jimenez book that I ever read. This is a woman who is like a travel vlogger. She has a bunch of complicated family issues around addiction. Her sister has a daughter and then relapses, so the sister is now like the sole parent of this like infant niece of hers. So she is now having to like, Addie, you're so helpful. Or I don't know, I guess people probably won't care if you're there, whatever. But she now has to like adjust her life to being a mom when she never expected to be. The love interest is like a hotshot lawyer, I think, and he lives in the apartment next to her, and he ends up like helping her raise this child. I think I'm gonna put this in I'll Remember You, because this was my first book of hers, and I do like genuinely remember it pretty well. I remember most of the plot points. The other ones kind of below this are ones where I might need a refresher because it's been years since I read them, or I just didn't like them enough to remember them. But I think that's a solid I'll Remember You, because it's not my favorite, but like I definitely liked it. It had an impact. And the last one, The Fall Risk. This was more of like a short story novella one, Valentine's Day thing. This was the one where I believe the female lead had like a stalker, and so she like moved to like another town to try and get away from the stalker, and the guy that lives next to her is like hot, rough, grizzly man who like helps protect her from the stalker. Was also recently divorced. I don't know. This one was not super memorable to me, but again, I didn't hate it, so I'm gonna put this in could be part of this world, because again, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't super memorable. For it being a novella, I didn't hate it. But initially, this is where everything is ranked. We have Yours Truly and Truly the Best. I'll Remember You we have Just for the Summer and Life's Too Short. In the Friend Zone, we have Happily Ever After Playlist and Part of Your World, and then could maybe be part of this world, we have Say You'll Remember Me in the Friend Zone. The bottom tier of Life's Too Short is currently empty, and I need to process how I feel about that. Because if I, like, put them in order, The Fall Risk is, like, in my opinion, still better than Say You'll Remember Me in the Friend Zone. Do I think that Say You'll Remember Me in the Friend Zone should, like, are so bad that they shouldn't exist in the world? I genuinely don't know if I could comfortably say that. So I want to reiterate that The Fall Risk is better than these, but I don't know if I feel comfortable putting those in a they shouldn't, like, exist at all, don't bother reading them. I feel weird about it, but I would also feel weird about it if I changed it. I feel like I would baselessly, like, I'd be saying don't read this for not a valid reason. So, I think I'm gonna leave these here. Let me know how you feel about it. If you, like, in general agree with my rankings, let me know how you feel about Say You'll Remember Me and Friend Zone, if they should be lower. Or if you really liked them, give me your pitch on why they were actually really good. And in general, whether or not you agree with my ranking. If there's any other authors that you guys want me to rank, let me know, and I will look into them and see if I'm a valid person to rank them. But this is my list. I think, as of right now, Abby Jimenez is not a I'm not gonna ever read her again author, but I'm starting to go into her books with a little bit more apprehension, because 2 or 3 of the newest ones she's written were not my favorites, but she has written some really good stuff. So, I'm going in a little bit more cautious to her books. But, yeah. This is my tier ranking. Again, let me know your thoughts and feelings. If you guys want to follow me anywhere, as always, my stuff is down below. Stay safe, have a good November, and I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet.